Dude, let's go.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another small episode of Untamed Outdoorsmen. And today we are back with a smaller mod for my native Titan X 12.5 to finally fix some tiny issues that I was having in regards to landing gear. So landing gear as a whole is an extremely useful tool, but I do feel that it kind of gets a bad rap because of some issues that happen when you treat it improperly. We're going to be doing a whole video on that exact topic here pretty soon. But today we are going to be talking about the no-float wheels that you can get for the native Watercraft Sidekick landing gear. So I now technically officially have all three types of wheels for the landing gear. I have these guys here. We're going to talk about these in a minute. They're a little wet, I guess. I have the sand tires, which I like the sand tires quite a bit for sand. They're really bad on pavement and places like that, but on sand, they're excellent. But that's not what this video is about. We got the pneumatics, we got the sand tires, and now we have the no-float wheels to replace the standard pneumatics. So, these are the standard pneumatic tires. They're pretty cheap. They're actually what comes with the native Sidekick when you buy it. But these things are just good enough piece of the landing gear. You know, just like when you buy any product, you get, you know, the baseline model. You get good enough tires on it to make it functional. That's what this is, in my opinion. They come with the native Sidekick when you buy them, but like I said, they're good enough wheels to get you by. But I ran into some problems with these, and it's happened twice already. So I bought these about a year ago, a little over a year ago. I bought the native Sidekick. And I went probably 6 months on the original pneumatic tires that were on that Sidekick. After about 6 months, one of the tires, the tubes inside, stopped working. They just would not take air whatsoever. It wasn't cold or anything, but you know, I just went out to the kayak one day and it just didn't take air anymore. The tube was completely blown. No holes, no nails or anything in it, but I just went out to it and it wouldn't hold air anymore. So we got a replacement. If you're interested in getting a replacement for these pneumatic tires and you don't want to go for the no floats, don't try to find like the tube size for this wheel. You can get a replacement pneumatic tire for like $17, $18, maybe 20 now, I don't know. But you know, if you have the pneumatic wheels and don't want to spring for the upgrade, you can easily just buy a whole replacement wheel for like 20 bucks. Don't even bother trying to find a tube. That's exactly what I ended up doing at first, because it only happened to one wheel after the 6 months. So once I had the one issue with the tire, I bought the one replacement pneumatic wheel, and that got me through the rest of the season. But when I went to take out the kayak for the new 2025 fishing season, both tires had that same problem. Neither one would hold air anymore. So I'm not really fully sure. Like I said, they're good enough tires for the time being. If you have them and you don't see the problem with them, you know, they're fine. But either way, so they're good enough. But these are the replacements. So these are the native Watercraft brand specific no float wheels. So these things are, in my opinion, a nice upgrade. I don't have the box with me here because I actually had to use them recently here, but I wanted to talk about it after I use them. I've used them for one trip so far, and I like them. They do really good. I would say diameter-wise, compared to the originals, they're identical. In terms of like size, width, they're probably 125% of these, so a little bit thicker. In terms of weight, I would say these are a little bit lighter, but definitely not like a cheap plastic. This is not a brittle plastic that's gonna snap or break or anything like that. You know, the reason that I went with the native Watercraft brand no float tires is because it's name brand from native Watercraft, and they're going to be rated for the kayak landing gear. They'll be rated for all that weight. You know, I do think if you're running into issues with these pneumatics and you're looking for a replacement where you don't have to buy any more replacements to the pneumatics, definitely consider these, because I think these are a very good option. And they roll across pavement very easily. You don't have to worry about these being full of air and if they'll roll across the pavement easily with air. they're not gonna deform. They're gonna keep their shape regardless of the air. And this is not, again, this is not a cheap plastic. I do not think this is a poorly made product. There are some aftermarket replacements. I think the company is Railblaza, I'm pretty sure the name of it is. They make almost identical wheels to these, which are definitely an option if you're interested in maybe saving a little bit of money. I heard that they do work with the native landing gear. I can't confirm that since I don't have them, but I have heard that they do. But I do think that these, in my opinion, they're worth going for the extra $15 because, again, they're made by Native Watercraft, or at least their labeling is Native Watercraft, and they're going to be 100% rated for the landing gear. So there's no question in my head on if these can handle my situation, which I like. I mean, for $10, $15, it's not a bad idea to just do that. But yeah, one thing to keep in mind though, these do not float. So these are the Native no float wheels for a reason. They do not float. So when you're loading and unloading your kayak on the water, definitely be mindful of that. Definitely be mindful of the fact that if you drop these in the water, they're sinking right to the bottom. So you're gonna be out a native leg and a wheel. So definitely be very mindful of that. We are going to figure out a tether system for these, so it's less of a risk every time we use them. But yeah, definitely something that we can figure out and correct for pretty quickly. So definitely not concerned there. But yeah, these are the Native no float wheels. Definitely pretty cool. You have the nice piece where your Sidekick leg will go through, this red piece. I do believe there is a ball bearing in there, probably a waterproof sealed bearing in there, which is pretty cool. You got the rigid plastic. This is not a flexible plastic. I cannot move this with my hands. This is a rigid plastic, so no worry there. It's a lot more curved on the other side. You have the tread, which is a nice tread. It is rubber tread. It is a rubber tread, it's not plastic, which is nice. It does have the tread on it that lets it kind of kick up the sand. Minor sand, not heavy sand. This will sink right into the sand if it's on like fine grain sand. But it may help, this tread may help with small amounts of sand and gravel. But yeah, not a whole lot to talk about with these. There's not a whole lot of like exciting features or anything on these, but yeah, let's throw them on the legs right now and then we'll go out to the kayak and show them installed. Okay, so we got the leg here. This is the Sidekick HD leg. So one thing to keep in mind, so the Sidekick is gonna sit in the kayak like this, right? So you wanna have the piece that's not, this piece is going to be facing towards the kayak. This side is gonna be facing away from the kayak. So you wanna keep that in mind. So just like that. And then slide, they do give you new pins in the box as well. Okay, good. And that is a tight pin there, so it's not gonna fall out. But okay, and then we'll do the other one. I won't show that on camera, but yeah, we're gonna go to the kayak and we're gonna show you how these look on the Titan X 12.5. Okay, so sorry you can't see my face, but we have the no float wheels with the Sidekick HD legs, and I am just going to throw that right in. Nice and easy. It's gonna be almost identical fitment to the original pneumatics, so nothing really to worry about there. And then in the up position as well. Looks pretty good. I'm a fan. And then the other side. So again, tire is technically facing out. So the insides of the tires are facing towards the boat, the outside of the tires are facing out. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm a fan, and they sit in there nice and easy. I don't have the pins in, so it's gonna wobble, but yeah, I think these look good. These should serve as a perfectly acceptable upgrade to those pneumatic wheels and no longer having to deal with flats, which is gonna be nice. We're definitely gonna have to figure out some sort of tether system to make sure I don't accidentally drop these in the water, which I'll figure out, and I'll probably leave a community tab post for that. Once I figure that out, I'll show some pictures on our community tab. But yeah, these are a nice little upgrade, not overly expensive either, so yeah. Definitely gets my seal of approval, I would say. Okay guys, so that is actually going to do it for today's small video on those Native Watercraft no float wheels. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have already actually used those no float wheels one time on a paved surface, and I can definitely say that they roll nice and easy across paved surfaces. It might be a different conversation if it's in like very fine sand, which is what the sand tires are for. So yeah, definitely a great upgrade to the pneumatics if you're looking to upgrade those or you're having issues with them. Definitely, I would recommend that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for all the upcoming fishing videos coming very, very soon. So thank you guys.